Welcome to this summary of The Art of Money Getting by P.T. Barnum. Yes, that P.T. Barnum, the legendary showman behind the famous circus. But before he was entertaining crowds with the greatest show on earth, Barnum was a shrewd businessman who understood money better than most. Written in 1880, this little book contains timeless wisdom about building wealth that's just as relevant today as it was over 140 years ago. What makes Barnum's advice special isn't just that he was incredibly successful, it's that he learned many of his lessons the hard way, through both spectacular successes and crushing failures. In this summary, we'll explore Barnum's golden rules for making money. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes or complex financial theories. Instead, they're practical, common-sense principles that anyone can apply, whether you're starting your first job or running your own business. So let's dive into the mind of America's greatest showman and discover what he learned about the art of making money. Section 1. Choose your vocation wisely. Barnum's first and most important rule is simple. Find work you're naturally suited for and genuinely enjoy. He believed that trying to force yourself into the wrong profession is like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's exhausting and rarely profitable. Think of it this way. If you're naturally good with numbers, don't force yourself to become a salesperson just because it seems lucrative. If you're a natural performer, don't hide behind a desk job. Barnum himself discovered this when he realized his talent for entertainment and promotion far exceeded his abilities as a traditional merchant. The key insight here is that when you work in harmony with your natural abilities, you'll not only be happier, but you'll also excel faster than your competition. Success becomes less about grinding against your nature and more about channeling your strengths effectively. Section 2. The golden rule of location. Location, location, location. You've heard it before, but Barnum understood its power long before it became a real estate cliché. He emphasized that where you set up shop can make or break your business, regardless of how good your product or service might be. But Barnum's concept of location goes beyond just physical space. He talked about positioning yourself where opportunity flows naturally. If you're a farmer, be near transportation routes. If you're in retail, be where your customers actually shop, not where rent is cheapest. This principle applies to career choices too. Sometimes taking a lower-paying job in the right industry or location sets you up for much greater success than taking a higher-paying position in a dead-end situation. Think strategically about where the current of opportunity is flowing, then position yourself to ride that current. Section 3. Master the art of advertising. Long before modern marketing existed, Barnum understood that having a great product means nothing if people don't know about it. But his approach to advertising was both clever and ethical. He believed in creating genuine excitement about real value, not deceiving people. Barnum's advertising philosophy was about storytelling and creating an experience around your product or service. When he promoted his museum, he didn't just list the exhibits, he created mystery, wonder, and anticipation. He understood that people don't just buy products, they buy feelings and experiences. The lesson for us is clear. Whatever you're selling, whether it's a product, a service, or even yourself in a job interview, learn to communicate its value in a way that captures imagination. Be creative, be memorable, but always be truthful. As Barnum proved, honest enthusiasm sells better than clever deception. Section 4. Live within your means. Here's where Barnum's advice might surprise you. Despite his reputation for grand spectacles, he was actually quite conservative about personal spending. His rule was simple. Spend less than you earn, always. Barnum learned this lesson the hard way when early extravagances nearly bankrupted him. He discovered that no matter how much money you make, if you spend more than you earn, you're on a path to financial ruin. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You can pour in all the water you want, but you'll never get ahead. He advocated for what we might call today lifestyle inflation resistance. When your income grows, resist the urge to immediately upgrade your lifestyle to match. Instead, save and invest the difference. This creates a buffer that protects you during tough times and provides capital for future opportunities. Section 6. Avoid debt like the plague. Barnum was passionate about this point. Debt is often the enemy of wealth building. He compared being in debt to having a noose around your neck. It limits your options and can strangle your financial future. This doesn't mean never borrowing money, but it means being extremely careful about when and why you take on debt. Barnum distinguished between productive debt, money borrowed to create income or build assets, and consumption debt, which is borrowing to fund lifestyle expenses. His advice was to avoid consumption debt entirely and to use productive debt only when you're confident about your ability to repay it from the income it generates. In today's terms, this might mean being very cautious about credit card debt while being more open to a mortgage or a business loan that generates returns. Section 7. The Persistence Principle. Barnum's life story is a testament to persistence. He faced multiple business failures, including bankruptcy, but he always got back up and tried again. He understood that temporary setbacks are not permanent defeats. They're learning opportunities and character builders. But Barnum's persistence wasn't just about stubbornly repeating the same mistakes. It was intelligent persistence, learning from failures, adapting strategies, but never giving up on worthy goals. He compared this to a river that finds its way to the sea. It might encounter rocks and take detours, but it never stops flowing toward its destination. This principle applies whether you're building a business, advancing in your career, or working toward any financial goal. Expect obstacles, plan for setbacks, but maintain unwavering commitment to your ultimate objective. Section 8. The Power of Small Economies. One of Barnum's most practical pieces of advice was about paying attention to small expenses. He famously said that many people who are careful about large expenditures are careless about small ones, and this carelessness can be just as destructive to wealth building. Think of it like this. A small leak in your boat might not seem dangerous, but over time it can sink you just as surely as a big hole. Those daily coffee purchases, subscription services you've forgotten about, or impulse buys might seem insignificant individually, but they add up to significant amounts over time. Barnum's approach wasn't about being miserly with small pleasures, but about being conscious and intentional with every spending decision. Before making any purchase, ask yourself, is this moving me toward or away from my financial goals? Section 9. Cultivate your character and reputation. Perhaps surprisingly, for someone known as a showman, Barnum placed enormous emphasis on honesty and integrity in business dealings. He understood that your reputation is your most valuable business asset, and once damaged, it's incredibly difficult to repair. Barnum distinguished between legitimate promotion and outright fraud. While he was a master of creating excitement and mystery around his attractions, he was careful never to completely deceive his customers. He knew that disappointed customers don't return, and word of mouth can destroy a business faster than anything else. In today's connected world, this advice is more relevant than ever. Your reputation follows you everywhere, and building trust takes time while losing it can happen overnight. Always deliver what you promise, treat people fairly, and remember that short-term gains from dishonest practices are never worth the long-term damage to your reputation. Wrap up. The Barnum Legacy. As we come to the end of our journey through P.T. Barnum's wisdom, let's remember the core message that runs through all his advice. Building wealth isn't about luck, inheritance, or get-rich-quick schemes. It's about making smart, consistent choices over time. Barnum's golden rules boil down to this: find work that suits your talents, position yourself strategically, communicate your value effectively, live below your means, avoid destructive debt, persist through challenges, mind the small details, and always maintain your integrity. What makes Barnum's advice so powerful is that it's been tested by time and proven by his own remarkable life story. He wasn't born wealthy, he faced significant setbacks, but by following these principles, he built lasting prosperity and left a legacy that endures to this day. The art of money getting isn't really about money at all. It's about developing the character, habits, and mindset that naturally lead to financial success. Start applying these principles today, and you'll be amazed at how they can transform not just your bank account, but your entire approach to life and business. Remember, the greatest show on earth isn't in a circus tent. It's the life you build by making wise choices, one decision at a time.